I have a list of questions that I prepared to ask you. What is important in choosing a neuroprogrammer?
Well, in my professional opinion, I've been in this field for over 20 years in the state of California, and I have had prior experience in New York. In my opinion, it's very important to have a licensed therapist as your guide and your trainer and to help you through the processes. It's also important to have someone that has training in hypnosis and hypnotherapy. It's also not necessary to have a biofeedback machine, as many of them do, although I can and do use that. You can use the brainwave master entrainment, which allows the brain waves to find new pathways in order to change the thought patterns of anxiety that may be coming from many disorders, such as PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder, substance abuse, eating disorders, sleep apnea, and there's so many others. It is a wonderful treatment tool for early childhood abuse, early childhood memories of destructive situations that have happened in one's life.
Many neuroprogrammers use hypnosis. What should I look for in choosing one?
You should look for a person that's a certified hypnotherapist that has had at least 350 hours of certification and training. As for myself, I have had over 5,000 hours of training because I believe in continuing education. I'm fascinated with hypnosis and the many changes in our field today. So I have studied with very interesting people on a one-on-one. I have trained with Sheila Rossi, who wrote the book Hypnotic Realities and has trained with the Milton Erickson. I use Milton Erickson quite a bit with his embedded suggestions and metaphors. Metaphors are important because it can help the patient to understand in a framework that they are familiar with, and therefore allow them to follow the new neural pathways. The other one I mentioned is ratifying the trance state, to helping the person go deeper into the trance state in a very relaxed state, experiencing these memories that are diluted now. They can see these memories in a situation that is not frightful. For instance, you're a person with PTSD from the war, combat war veterans, experienced combat fatigue, and the memories of the war. It's difficult to take one back using just hypnosis because these memories are very painful. But with the use of the brain entrainment or a biofeedback or both, one can help the individual to be able to see these memories in a distance from them, to be able to see them and move them into newer, healthier pathways without having the abreaction, the effects, the emotional effects that cause the traumatic events in the first place. And that is also very indicative of ones that have had early childhood abuse, people that have substance abuse, people for smoking and weight control, people with sexual dysfunctions. It's a myriad of disorders that can be treated.
What are the benefits of neuroprogramming?
The benefits of neuroprogramming can be done in a brief situation. It can be done from 8 to 12 sessions, and usually by then it's successfully completed the goals of the person, the client, and the therapist. That's, to me, is great, without spending an awful lot of money to continuing to have it go on. As many people will continue to keep the client coming back 6 months to a year. As I said before, my belief is to do it quickly and briefly, alleviating the pain and discomfort of the emotional trauma that that person may be facing. And incidentally, I'm so glad you asked these questions. If you'd like to email, that's also a possibility. You may email me at drDgaine@yahoo.com. That's Dr. D. Gaine, and it's shortened by DRDGAINE.com. Thanks, Jeff. I'm so glad you asked these questions. I think it's very important for you to bring this feedback and this information for the person that you're asking these questions for.